on the other side realized it. It was too late. The man had already escaped. The next thing he has to do is to take revenge. He was framed by his best friend who took his wife by force. Now this best friend is enjoying his life outside while the man has been suffering in prison for 15 years. But before he could take revenge, he had to get rid of his prison uniform, or else he would die if the soldiers saw him. Then the man quietly ran into a farm while the owner was away and brought some clothes that fit him and changed into them. Looking at his disheveled self in the mirror, he felt more and more angry that 15 years in prison had transformed the once handsome boy into the old man he was today, and that it was all their fault. The next day he returned to his hometown with a new look, ready to visit his father whom he hadn't seen for many years. But he was surprised to learn from a neighbor that his father had died many years ago. He couldn't believe it. Then he followed his neighbor's lead to the church, and soon the graveyard keeper there took him to the grave. He learned from the other side that his father had died because he missed his son. Next to him there was a grave with his name on it. It turns out that in the eyes of the man's enemies, he is already dead. And more importantly, they also indirectly killed his father. But then an even more desperate thing like a bolt from the blue struck him when he went to his wife's house with an excited heart. But he learned that she had not only gotten married, but also went to live in Paris. The man was overwhelmed by the two blows, and as he walked down the street, he suddenly encountered a group of guards, who hid themselves from him in case they found out that he was a fugitive from justice. At that moment, a prisoner suddenly turned around and fled. A guard saw this and hurriedly chased after him, just to the man's place. The prisoner was knocked down by the guards and beaten. The man, who was also a prisoner, couldn't stand it any longer, so he went up and knocked down the guards. Then he used the key to unlock the prisoner's chains. The man told him to get out of there, but he followed him like a plaster, until they met the guards again. The two men saw the guards and hid in a wagon. Then he talked to him and found out that he was a crew member specializing in smuggling, and that's why he was targeted by the guards. Now the ship is parked in the harbor, but he does not know how to drive the ship. The man heard that. He instantly had an idea. He used to be the captain of a shipping company. To drive the ship for him is a piece of cake. Soon the two of them arrived at the freighter, accompanied by his nephew, and their destination was Talamone. Then the man took out his dashboard and looked at the wind direction and said that a storm was coming and that they had to go to Monte Cristo, 10 kilometers away, to get out of the storm. Hearing this, the guy had no choice but to take the boat. Soon the three of them arrived at Monte Cristo. The reason why the men came here was to find the treasure of the Count.